So, good morning, everyone. We'll begin with the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs. So good morning. I believe today is day 11 or 12 of our retreat here in Berkeley. And one of the things we were trying to go over is the 11 wholesome dharmas that in the Buddhist tradition, in the Yogacara tradition, they say, lead us out of suffering and a kind of a mind that's truly free. These are kind of qualities of the mind, qualities of the heart. And want to share one that is, I find really, really important to cultivate if we want to maintain a kind of life, a kind of joy in our practice. And it's the Dharma of faith. Or sometimes you can say Dharma of confidence or trust. And in the tradition it says that this Dharma, the Dharma of faith, actually has a quality of joy to it. It brings joy to the heart. And it also naturally purifies the mind. He gives an analogy that there's like a gem that you put into water and it naturally cleans the water. This gem of faith you put into the heart, into the mind, and naturally cleans away defilements. I remember one time Ajahn Pasno here was for tea time at Berkeley Monastery. And he talked about letting go. He made a very interesting reflection that stuck with me. He said, if we really want to let go, it's actually not through willpower, it's through faith. I thought, I never thought of that before. The faith is, you could say, the Dharma that really allows us to let go, to purify the heart. And so I actually think in our meditation practice, and you could say throughout our lives, that this Dharma of faith, of confidence, of trust is actually really important to cultivate. Because it brings that kind of sense of joy. It's what makes the Dharma fun. If you want to have fun in the Dharma, you have to have some faith. You want to have some trust, have some confidence. And it naturally purifies the mind. I remember when I started out learning the Dharma, some things naturally fell away. For instance, I naturally stopped playing video games. I thought that the video games was a lot of fun, but as I had more and more confidence in the Dharma, somehow the video games lost their, entertainment. They weren't that fun anymore. And I also decided to stop bullying my brother, kind of teasing my brother. And maybe because I guess I realized it wasn't so fun teasing my brother, right? And I learned, maybe I should not cause harm to other people. I also thought of learning from my father, of not needing to kind of prove myself and being smart with my dad, and just say, you know what, I can humbly learn from my dad and want to have that connection with him. And that didn't come from forcing myself. It came from a place of, I'll say, confidence in the Dharma, or in learning about this spiritual path, that a lot of these kind of places that my identity, my attachments I kind of clung on to, fell away. And so I was also thinking a little bit about moments in my life where there was faith, as a reference point for all of us here. They say, how do you really kind of nurture this quality of faith in the heart? I think it's very important as we practice, because otherwise the practice can get kind of black and white, kind of gray and dreary. Sit after sit, another sit, pain in the legs. This is very miserable. That it actually makes it like vibrant. The Dharma gains a kind of a life. We're doing this for some deeper purpose that I really believe in. So I remember one of these moments was actually meeting Ajahn Amaro in college. And at that time, I had already told a story about how I wanted to be a monk, but I didn't know if I wanted to be a Buddhist monk or a Catholic monk. And so I was kind of, going through my days, trying to find things that Buddhism and Catholicism or Christianity had kind of similarities in, and I would start there, and I just practiced those things. And then one day, Ajahn Amaro came to college to do a half-day retreat. Actually, this retreat was organized by Shari. So a lot of gratitude to Shari. And so she was there. He was there, and I remember just sitting there observing him, just observing how relaxed he was, how genuine his smile was. I don't quite remember exactly what he said, but I'm sure it had a lot of wisdom. I thought to myself, wow, this person's really happy. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I think I want to be Buddhist. And I remember going back to my dorm room, very happy, telling my best friend, who was actually in the same dorm as me, Jonathan. I said, Jonathan, I think I'm going to be Buddhist. And he said, okay. I don't think it made that much of a difference for him. I could already say I was pretty intense in my spiritual practice, but for me it made a difference. I'm going to be Buddhist. And so, and it came from a sense of real faith, of inspiration. This is the path I want to walk on. There's a certain amount of thinking that was involved, you could say, that I had some understanding about the spiritual path, believing that it was a doorway to liberation. But it was seeing him that went, opened the heart. And so I think for all of us here in the Dharma, that for us to still stay attuned to that initial inspiration when we met the Dharma. Or maybe it's not the Dharma, maybe met goodness, met virtue. And something in our heart opened up. And a kind of it's not like an excited joy, but just a kind of a deep joy, like a kind of peaceful joy of saying, wow, I found something I really believe in. I really think is good. And then you can see how naturally that allows us to let go of the afflictions in our mind, the kind of constant doubting of ourselves, doubting of things, the kind of restlessness where we never can make a decision, the kind of ill will or irritation that gets built up over time. They just melt away from this place of real kind of faith and inspiration. And I think here in Berkeley, during the session, there's many places we see it. In the faces of the donors that come every day with an offering. I think when you see them arrive with their food offering, often driving like an hour just to get here. They wake up early in the morning, cooking for the community of monastics and the lay community that's practicing together. And they spend the morning cooking, and then they drive it up here. And there's this kind of joy you see in their face. And you don't see them with a scowl, like, like, oh, gosh, these people are just lazy bums. I'm just feeding them. Why? No, that's no faith, right? The finding like, gosh, these are really parasites on society. They come with like, wow, I get to support the Buddhist spiritual path. And there's a real joy that you feel from them that's inspiring. But as I was reflecting on this session, there's another place that I found a lot of inspiration from, which is actually from our senior teachers teaching throughout these 2 weeks, or these 3 weeks. And yes, they teach with, I think, a lot of experience from many years of cultivation, sharing their insights, reflections, and so forth. But there's a quality in their teaching that I think for me really inspires me, really brings faith, is actually their humility. Like yesterday night, Reverend Hong Shi spoke to everyone. And if people picked up at the end, he said, I'm just very happy to be part of this, to be able to be part of this energy. Not coming like, I'm a great Dharma master, you guys are wasting my time, but I'm really going to teach you guys because, if you praise me enough, I can, maybe teach you. No, it's like, wow, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be among you who are really sincerely cultivating. And that comes from Reverend Hong Shi, that comes from Doug, comes from Marty, comes from, the senior teachers just going down the line, that they're teaching not from a place of, I'm better than you and, you should all pay homage to me and then maybe I'll teach you something, but a real care for our well-being, a real respect for our sincerity in practice, however beginner it is. Trying to deal with the pain in our legs, the pain in our back, the false thinking in our mind, barely able to keep our mind, heart, and body together. But they're there supporting. And just to see that kind of virtue, I think that's actually a kind of a manifested in virtue, brings kind of faith in the heart that this path that we're walking on is a good path, a path that leads to not only a kind of inner well-being and freedom, but a real heart of service to everyone around us. And so I think for us here on the retreat and also those online, maybe today you can really reflect on how do I nurture this quality of faith in my heart, this inspiration when I see virtue and goodness, when I really understand and discover a path that leads to true happiness and liberation. It also has a component of this confidence in ourselves that I can walk this path too. That in this very moment, I can turn back, maybe not exactly say turn back, I would say rest in this inner sense of integrity, virtue, awareness, peace, harmony, care, that this moment to moment is accessible to us in the here and now. There's a kind of confidence that, I can find that place. Find that place moment to moment is what leads us to, you could say, true freedom. Okay, so maybe just that much today. Hope everyone can nurture their heart of faith as we have another day of practice. Okay, Amidofo.